Today we continue with our class Shabbat Kitchen. Today's class number 10. We continue with Sefer Shmiras Valashon. The topic today, measure for measure. Scripture relates how a prophet Eliyahu was forced to hide in a cave to escape the design of the wicked king Ahav and his queen Isabel. When God appeared to Eliyahu in a vision, the prophet said, I have been exceedingly zealous for HaShem, the God of the legions. For the children of Israel have abandoned your covenant. Says Melachim Aleph, 1910. Okay. It was because of this indictment of his people that the role of transmitting the divine word to the generation was transferred from Eliyahu to his disciple Elisha. Yalkut Shmani 2:17. So it's very hard to comprehend how is it possible, right? But Eliyahu was very, very zealous to HaShem, for HaShem. Right? That's known, right? And he said that these people actually deserve it, right? They have abandoned your commandments, and it is true. We're talking about kingdom of Israel, right? They all of them were idol worshippers at that time. They were forced. Some of them were forced. Some of them did it on their own accord. But even though, because he spoke badly about the Jewish nation, he was punished. Okay. So continue. So and punished how? I mean, I'm not sure. Like it says that he was punished. On the other hand, Hashem took him alive, right? And he gave him a different job, maybe even better in Shamayim. I don't know. I would not be. I would not mind to be punished as Eliyahu. If that's. I mean, on his level, maybe it's punishment. Not maybe, yeah, for sure. But on our level, it's the biggest reward, I guess. Years later, when Elisha prophesied at the end of the famine, an officer of the king declared, behold, if Hashem makes a window in the heaven, can such a thing be? This arrogant guy, right? It's Melachim base 7:2. The man recites the Sefer Haredim. But it says, understand the officer was, as meaning, surely it is within God's power to bring this about. However, the generation is like the generation of the flood, regarding which it is written, and the window of the heaven are opened. Bereshit 7:11. How can it be that the generation of so wicked should merit miracle so great? Because he spoke this way, of the Jewish people, the officer was told by Elisha, you will see the miracle occur, but you will not eat from the food that is a result from it. So basically, so Jerusalem was under the siege, right? And there was no food. That's it. People were starving. And Elisha said tomorrow, there's going to be so much food that it would be so cheap and so abundant. So this officer, he was, I think he was in charge of the guards of the gate, main gate, or maybe some like big general. I don't remember, but he was in charge, right? The person in charge. And then he was laughing at Elisha. So he said, so everybody is going to be satiated tomorrow, right? That's what he's saying. He said, even if Hashem opened the window in heavens, it's not going to happen. That's not enough. The people are so hungry that it's not possible. And Elisha told him, okay, tomorrow you're going to see, it is sure, but you're not going to eat from it. Right? What happened? When delivery came and there was food, because I think it was Sancherib's army, they ran away in the middle of the night, right? And it was declared to everybody, so come to the camp these Syrians, and you can eat a lot of food, a lot of money and stuff like that. So, and everybody started running, and they ran over this officer and they actually killed him. That's what happened. So he said that he spoke bad about the Jewish nation, right? He said even if Hashem, basically he said, even if Hashem were to open the window of heaven and provide food, so people are not deserving. So he said it's not happening. Okay, so that's the moral of the story. Don't talk bad about Jewish people. Okay. All right, so today we continue chapter number 7, and our topic is insulating. Part number 1, introduction. I'm on page 102. The sages enacted the additional decree to preclude the transgression of bishul, cooking, and havara, kindling. Right? So this is the prohibition of hatmana, insulating. It is forbidden midebarabanan to insulate pot of hot food on Shabbos by enclosing it in any material that retains heat. For example, a towel. In some instances, it is forbidden to do it even on Erev Shabbos. This prohibition applies even with surprising frequency in a modern kitchen, as we shall see in the coming pages. All right, so before we continue, let's try to understand. So we're not talking about cooking, right? We're talking about insulating. So insulation is something like you wrap around, like towels, or you put some food, for example, your own food to get cold, right? So you want to keep warm. So in old country, what the people would do, they put it in between the pillows, in the blankets, right? So they surround with these things, and the food would keep warm for, I don't know, for hours, 2, 3, 4 hours, simple. Right? It would go warm. So in some instances, we're going to see it is forbidden to do it on Shabbos. And we'll see why. I mean, there's some permitted way, but let's see. Number 2, general principles. So, and it is the Rabbanan. It's not the Raisa, it's not the Torah prohibition, it's rabbinical. Number 2, general principle. Let me open the window. It's too hot. So general principles. Insulation refers to the supplementary covering. For example, a towel, which is wrapped around a container of food to retain heat. A primary wrapping is not considered insulation. Okay. So we're going to see. So first definition, they say something like a towel. Okay. And the purpose why is for the food to remain warm. Thus, it is permissible on Shabbos to wrap hot food in pre-cut aluminum foil. This is because although the foil helps retain heat, its main purpose is simply to keep the food from drying out. It is therefore not considered insulation. Therefore, a second layer of the foil is not needed to preserve the food, but only to keep warm. Therefore, it is considered insulation and may not be used. If a person has a large piece of foil and would like to wrap the food several times in order to retain the heat, he may not do so. Rather, he should fold the foil several times. Very interesting. Or else use a smaller piece of foil prior to covering the food one time. If he needs to use extra foil in order to prevent the leaks or to cover up the hole in the first piece of foil, it is permitted. So let's try to understand. So the first example, the first concept that they give us is if sometimes things, for example, this aluminum foil, it can be used for as insulation. As we understand, if you wrap in this aluminum foil, it would keep the food warm on one hand. On another hand, if you would wrap in this aluminum foil, they prevent the drying out, right? So which is absolutely permissible on Shabbos. So the authors say if you wrap it one time, so that's enough to prevent from drying out, right? But if you try to use a second aluminum foil, that's the problem. So today we buy this pre-cut. People are spoiled. Yeah, they're spoiled. We buy pre-cut this aluminum foil sheets, and that's it. I mean, they're all the same size. It's not like, I mean, if you have a tiny piece of food, so maybe then you'll be able to wrap it, I don't know, 2 or 3 times. But otherwise, it's mostly for one wrap. Okay. So that's what they say. But they say let's say. So you have a pre-cut piece of aluminum foil from before Shabbos, for whatever reason, it's a very big piece, and now you want to wrap this piece of food. So they say you cannot wrap multiple times. So the authors say prepare this aluminum foil, wrap, bend it like as many times as you need, maybe like 3 or 4 times, whatever you need. So you can, when you wrap the food, it's going to be only one wrap, right? So that's not forbidden. Okay. Or use, as he said, use smaller piece of aluminum foil. But you see, the issue is that we cannot tear anything, right, on Shabbos. That's the second issue. And this some tearing are permitted, as we learned before, but it was only for destructive purpose, right? When we need to get, for example, some food that in some container, so it would be for destructive purpose. But here you tear for constructive purpose, right? So it would not be permitted. So that's why we use this pre-cut aluminum sheets, or a person can cut himself. It's not a big deal, just before Shabbos. It's not an issue. Okay. Continue. Submerging cooked food with the prohibition of bishul does not apply. And into another food is not considered hatmana. Hatmana is insulating, right? And is permitted. It is therefore permitted to submerge pieces of cold chicken in a hot soup or cholent that is off the fire. See chapter 3 and 4. So I think that they give a good example. I mean, all examples are good, but I think it's very good. So the author is saying, okay, so you have a cold piece of chicken, right? Or it was warm and it's getting cold, and you want to keep it warm. So what do? You put in a pot of soup, right? So there, in some sense, it is like insulation. So, and we said that there is no problem. We actually spoke about it in a chapter of cooking. So we say there is no cooking after cooking. Of course, this food that you're trying to insulate by the way of soup or cholent, as we said before, it must be completely cooked. That's 100%. And something like it's not liquid, right? So dry, absolutely dry. Okay, B, application. The prohibition of insulating applies to partially cooked food as well to completely cooked food. No pot of warm food may be wrapped in a forbidden insulation on Shabbos. Okay, so let's read one more time and we're going to explain. The prohibition of insulating applies to partially cooked food as well for completely cooked food. So partially cooked food, so why is it forbidden to insulate? The answer is very simple, because it's good because there is still heat, and this heat is going to continue cooking whatever was not cooked. right? And good insulation, it can cook completely. Maybe there are some things that are easy to cook, right? Okay. Completely cooked food. So authors say that does not matter. It's a completely cooked food or not completely cooked food. I mean, when it's not completely, there is a prohibition of bishul. I guess if it would be like above yatzel visible, if it's possible, maybe. Right. Continue. No part of warm food may be wrapped in a forbidden insulation on Shabbos. So, and the emphasis on, I mean, my emphasis would be on forbidden insulation. So some insulation will be permitted and some would be forbidden. Okay, so we're going to see exceptions. Okay. So initially, I would say, I would add also to qualify the initial wrapping. So if it was wrapped right before Shabbos, so in most of the cases, not in all of the cases, but in most of the cases, you would be allowed to rewrap it, no problem. Continue. C. Limitations. The prohibition of insulating applies only to wrap in in enclosed container on top and all of the sides. If a substantial part of the container is left exposed, it is not considered insulating. This rule will be elaborated upon later on page 112. Okay, so we're going to get it. So one of the limitations. So when, for example, I have a pot of something, right? So if I wrap something around the pot, let's say this towel, right? But I left the cover open, the lid of the pot open, so it's not considered an insulation. Why? Because the heat is going to escape from the top. Simple. So insulation when it's wrapped completely. D. Two types of insulation. Material used as insulation fall into two categories. Those that simply retain heat, and those who intensify the heat of the food they enclose. There are many halakhic differences between these two types of insulation. We will detail in the next two sections. Okay, so one more time, two types of insulations. So one is a simple, like we would guess, right, to retain the heat, right? But other type of the material, they actually intensify the heat. So because of the contact with this material, the food is actually getting hotter than it was initially. We're going to see. So part number 3, the topic is insulating with a self-heat retaining material. Okay. Most materials, when wrapped around the container of hot food, were simply served simply to retain its heat or to slow the cooling process. That's actually, I would say, most of the time, it's the initial goal: slow the cooling process. Okay, retain heat or slow the cooling process. These materials include cloth, aluminum foil, paper. Paper is very good, right? Wool, cotton, and the like, known as heat-retaining substances. So I'm going to repeat the list. These materials included cloth, right? Aluminum foil, paper, wool, cotton. So all of these towels in these categories. Blankets, right? And the like are known as heat-retaining substances. A pot of a hot food may be wrapped in a heat-retaining material. A pot of a hot food may be wrapped in a heat-retaining material on Erev Shabbos. So basically, what they're saying, so you can wrap completely. When they say wrap, it means wrap completely. So because if you don't wrap top, for example, on one side, so it's not completely, or it's loose wrapping. I mean, if it does not attach, which is almost waste of wrapping, I would say, right? So, and that's what people do. I think it's very, very practical, especially in the summer when it's very hot and very humid, and you're humid, and you don't want to keep a blech, running the whole Shabbos because you go crazy, right, from the heat. So that's what people do for Friday night. They wrap, they warm the food, like make it very hot, turn off the stove, wrap in these blankets, right, and towels, and leave it for a Friday night dinner, and it's completely, there is no problem. It's pretty warm, pretty hot sometimes. Okay. So that's, but one more time, we run it in these materials, let's say this cotton, wool, whatever, aluminum foil, before Shabbos starts. On Shabbos, however, it is forbidden to insulate a pot with any such material. So re-insulate, if it was covered like this on Erev Shabbos, and then you took some food, let's say, right, and you want to re-insulate, there is no problem. Okay, so that's we have to keep in mind. But insulate for like initially, you cannot. This includes even a pot that was partially insulated on Shabbos. Okay. Well, so, as we said before, partial insulation is not halachically is considered to be insulation. That's my explanation. Once it is Shabbos, it may not be enclosed completely. So if it was loosely covered, okay, so keep it loosely insulated. As we said, I mean, the heat is going to escape. I mean, of course, it's slower, but still is going to escape. Thus, it is permissible to wrap a pot in a towel or blanket before Shabbos, so it will stay warm for evening meal. Exactly, that's what we do all the whole summer because it's too hot with this thing. But on a day, and on the next day, on Shabbos day, we have a slow cooker, right? So that's a solution. However, a pot left unwrapped before Shabbos may not be insulated on Shabbos. Okay, so one more time. I mean, we said it, but one more time. However, a pot left unwrapped on Shabbos may not be insulated on Shabbos. Okay, continue. Exceptions. There are a number of cases in which container may be insulated in a heat-retaining material on Shabbos. This exception applies only to fully cooked food. Partially cooked food may never be insulated on Shabbos. As we said, because of the possibility it would continue cooking. Even a little, still not allowed. Okay, so we'll see the exceptions. Okay, continue. A, re-insulating previously wrapped pot. We just discussed it, but let's see the detail. A pot of fully cooked food, which was wrapped in a heat-retaining material, for example, a towel, before Shabbos, and become uncovered on Shabbos, may be rewrapped. So uncovered meaning that you took some food. Moreover, it is permissible to unwrap the container on Shabbos, to remove some food and re-insulate it. Okay, so just uncover the top, right? Take the food, close the lid, and cover it again. No problem. It is also permissible to add extra layer of insulation. For example, another towel to a pot that was insulated before Shabbos. Right? I mean, okay. So usually, usually it's not necessary. From my experience, usually it's not necessary if everybody came on time for a meal. I mean, why? Maybe if people want to like eat extra after that, but it's I say it's not healthy. That's what I think. Okay, just eat whatever they give and be happy. Like, why would I want to eat extra? Okay. B, cliche. Okay, so very interesting. So cliche, just remind us, it's a secondary vessel. So vessel meaning what? Clearly shown is the vessel in which the food was initially cooked or was on a black or on a fire, and cliche is a vessel to where the contents of the first vessel was transferred. Okay, so let's see. Cliche. With regard to the heat retaining material, the prohibition of insulating applies only to clearly shown. Right? Here we go. only to the first vessel. There is the original pot that was heated on a flame or blech. Right? If food is transferred to kli sheni, for example, there is a second vessel, it is permissible to insulate that vessel with heat-retaining material. Okay, so let's see. So first vessel, kli rishon, no. If it was not insulated before Shabbos, yeah, of course we always insulate kli rishon because the vessel is still hot. This pot is still hot. That's why would you transfer the food in the second vessel, right? Exactly. So we always insulate the primary vessel. Okay. So let's see. Thus, if the need arises to insulate hot food on Shabbos, one should transfer the food to a kli sheni and insulate that second container. Well, here we go, very practical solution. So you need to preserve the food, heat of the food. So transfer to the second vessel and you can insulate it. Furthermore, once the food was transferred to the kli sheni, it is permitted to return it to the original vessel, and insulate it with a heat-retaining material. Based on this rule, a baby bottle filled with the warm milk, kli sheni, may be wrapped in a towel to retain its heat. So let me read the sentence before and we try to explain. So, okay. So what we said before, if you need this food to insulate the food, whatever is it, transfer from primary vessel to the secondary vessel, and that secondary vessel you can insulate, no problem. But the second part, it's very interesting. So it says, furthermore, once the food was transferred to kli sheni, to secondary vessel, it is permitted to return it to original vessel. So now this original vessel, the way I understand, it's already tertiary vessel, right? That's it. The food is not there. So the food is not there. So from this food, from primary, I transfer to secondary, and then from secondary back to primary. Transfer kli sheni. It is permitted to return to original vessel and insulate it with a heat-retaining material. So heat-retaining material is our towel. Okay. And I would say it would be, I don't know if it would be hotter or the same. It's hard to say because every time you transfer food from one vessel to another, the temperature drops significantly. So I'm not sure what is better in this case. Maybe if he's going to do it fast, maybe it's better to keep it in a primary vessel. That's my guess. Continue. Based on this rule, baby bottle filled with warm milk, kli sheni. So I mean, of course, you warm up this milk in some other container, then you pour into this kli sheni, into this baby bottle, and this baby bottle you can wrap in a towel to retain its heat. C. If the food was has cooled, okay, if it's cold food, okay, so there is no problem whatsoever then, right? Let's see. There is an additional exception which applies only in cases of necessity. Even while in kli rishon, if food was cooked to the temperature, temperature below Yad Salidas Bo, they say 110 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's below Yad Salidas Bo, so meaning it's not going to cook. It is permissible in a case of necessity to insulate the pot with a heat-retaining material. In such a situation, if there is no container available to which to transfer the food, one may insulate the kli rishon. There is the original part to preserve the hot food essential for Shabbos meal. Okay, so let's try to understand what we just said. If food was so I'm going to read again, and we're going to sentence by sentence. If food has cooled, so cooled meaning beyond the Yad Salidas Bo, when you touch the pot and your hands recoil, right? So it says 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. So one more time. There is additional exception which applies in the case of necessity, even while in Kli Rishon. So why say even? They say even because we just said in Kli Sheni there is no problem. You can insulate because the temperature is dropping in Kli Sheni. So, but let's say they say in a case you don't have secondary vessel, only primary, there is no problem. So one more time, even while in Kli Rishon, if food has cooled to the temperature below Yad Saladasbo, so it's not as hot, it is permissible in a case of necessity. So that's the only container, and that's the only food that is a main course meal. I mean, what can you do, right? So insulate the pot with a heat retaining material. Okay, so you can insulate it because why? Because it's very the main course, right? The main course meal, and it's below Yad Saladasbo. In such a situation, if there is no container available to which to transfer food, one may insulate in Kli Rishon. So as we said, preferably according to all opinions, and it would not be even a question if he transferred to the secondary vessel. There is the original part. To preserve food essential for Shabbos meal. Okay. Continue. D. Ben Hashimashos. As discussed in chapter 29. Okay, we're on chapter 7. Okay. Discussed in chapter 29. If one has not yet accepted Shabbos upon himself during the halachic time Ben Hashimashos, one may wrap a pot that is off the fire in a towel or blanket. So it is. It will stay warm for Shabbos meal. Okay, so there is no explanation, but let's try to understand what it says. So first of all, what is the definition of Ben Hashimashos? Ben Hashimashos, it's a time period from the sunset until the nightfall. So since it is doubtful, some sages say it is still day, so it's still Friday. Other sages said no, absolutely not. It's already Shabbos. So since it is doubtful, we don't do any biblical melachas, but some rabbinical melachas, and if he forgot, she forgot, whatever, so we can do some. So this is one of the exceptions, right? So that you can wrap. How many exceptions? There are a few more exceptions, but that's it. Not too many. So, and plus, of course, this person did not accept Shabbos. So basically, it's not going to work in case of the woman, because women are accepting Shabbos when they light the candles. When they light the candles, they light candles 18 minutes before the sunset, right? Or in Israel, 40 minutes before the sunset, right? So it's not going to work with them. But she can always ask somebody else who did not accept Shabbos, if she has husband or son or daughter, for example, that did not accept Shabbos yet, so they can do it, no problem. She cannot, but other people can. No problem. Continue. Summary. A pot may be wrapped in a heat-retaining material on Erev Shabbos. As we said, this towel, for example. The pot may then be in cloth. I'm sorry. The pot may be then uncovered and rewrapped on Shabbos. So if, one more time, if it was wrapped on Erev Shabbos, so you can uncover and rewrap on Shabbos, there is no problem. And we said, as we said before, he can even add the additional layer. I'm not sure if it's going to help a lot, but okay, let's say, okay, he has a super duper blanket now. Right? Okay. However, it is forbidden to insulate pot on Shabbos. So whatever was not insulated before Shabbos, that's the thing. But if the food is transferred to the Kli Sheni, Kli Sheni, as we said, secondary vessel, it may be then insulated in heat-retaining material. So on Shabbos, you're not allowed to insulate only when it is in primary vessel, which was on the source of heat, right? Even if it was separated by blech, right? But since if you transfer to another vessel, right, you can wrap this secondary vessel. In case of necessity, even Kli Rishon may be wrapped in heat-retaining material after it's cooled below Yad Saladasbo. So in a first case, in a straightforward case, even if it's hot, right, if it's boiling, right, let's say, it was boiling, and you took off this pot from the stove, right? So you can transfer the content of the pot to another, which is very hot. It's for sure above Yatzel, and that you can run and heat retaining materials. Okay, so they repeat the heat retaining materials many times, almost in a paragraph, but we will see later on why exactly they're saying, to not to confuse with the second type of insulation material. Oh, it's actually here we go. Part number 4, insulating with a substance that intensify the heat. So this thing, whatever we're going to talk about, so it's going to make it the temperature of the content even higher. Very interesting. Some material actually have the ability to intensify the heat of an item that they enclosed. These materials include salt, peat, lime, sand, wet cotton, grass, or straw, and known as heat intensifying substances. So I'm going to repeat one more time. These materials included salt, peat, lime, sand, wet cotton, grass, or straw, right, and known as heat intensifying substances. Okay, it is forbidden without exception to insulate any container. There is even cliche need, right, even secondary, on such materials, even on Erev Shabbos. So those are exceptions. I don't think anybody insulating this in these materials, but I mean we never know. Okay, so but we know that it is forbidden even on Erev Shabbos. So and the explanation is why it's simple, because it's actually raises up the heat. Okay, so let's see modern application. Although it is unusual nowadays, exactly, to store food in this in any of these materials mentioned above, there is several common applications to this prohibition. Okay. A. Insulating a pot standing on a source of heat. A pot that is wrapped in a towel and left on a source of heat or on a hot plate is considered insulated in a heat intensifying material. Here we go, practical application. Because the towel combines with the heat from below to help raise the temperature of the pot. Therefore, it is forbidden completely to interrupt any pot left on a hot plate or on the top of the crack pot, even if it's done on Erev Shabbos. Let me see, continuation. Okay, no continuation. So let's try to explain. So okay, nobody's going to put pot in a bunch of salt and sand, wet cotton. Okay, that's understandable. But now we're talking about practical application, right? And when something that would intensify the heat. So they say if you have your pot on a blech and you wrapped this pot in a towel, regular cotton towel, right? So the towel is going to retain the heat, and the heat of the contents would be much hotter, right? Much hotter than it would be without this towel, right? So because of this towel blanket, it would be forbidden, right? Why? Because this pot is still attached to the source of heat, be it blech, the hot plate on top of the crack pot. So because the lid is very hot. I don't know, on our lid you cannot put, but usually they make them like a dome. I'm not sure. Maybe I don't know. Well, yeah, I mean, even I think even like a dome, so you can put like a little tilted. Okay, I see. Yeah, so even if you would be able to put it like this, so still you're not allowed to wrap it in any material. Why? Because as we said, it's going to increase the temperature. Very practical application. Continue. In insulating an urn, so this hot water, right? As stated above, it is forbidden to wrap a pot that stands on a source of heat. The same is true regarding wrapping a hot water urn with towels or a designated sleeve. I'm not sure what designated sleeve is. I mean, since all the urn they attach to the electricity, so there is no reason for that. I mean, the temperature is maintained automatically, so I'm not sure why would you need to wrap it to make it hotter. Probably they talk about urn, they disconnect it like a thermos, I would say, but thermos has a good insulation inside. Okay, I'm not sure why would you need to insulate the urn, not sure. Okay, C, crack pots, slow cookers. Okay, there are various types of crack pots available today. The flatbed version, where the pot merely sits on a flat base, poses no question regarding hatmana, regarding maintaining the hot food on a flame and returning it to a flame. Okay, so when it's hot base, a flat base, there is no problem. Okay. So I mean, in some sense, it is cooking, right? I mean, you can cook it, but after it's finished cooking, you can open up. There is no problem. So, but they say there is no problem with hatmana in insulating. Let's see. Another popular version is one in which pot usually made of ceramic. Okay, is inserted in a metal base. I mean, all of them. No, not all of them, but we had only few during in our lives. I don't know, 2 or 3. Now it has a stainless insert, but the one before this was this ceramic. I mean, it's very, very good stuff, very good material. Inserted into metal base, right? Which is designed with walls that surround the cracker. Okay, the ceramic pot that holds the food is ultimately surrounded by 5 of 6 sides. One more time, the ceramic pot that holds the food is ultimately surrounded by 5 of 6 sides. Okay, so 4 sides, 5 on the bottom and 6 on the top. Okay, let me do 1 second. Okay. It's not. So one more time. Sorry, I lost it. Okay, so one more time. Ceramic pot. So pot meaning the insert. The pot is like the crack pot is service as a metal. The ceramic pot that holds the food is ultimately surrounded by 5 sides. Okay, from all the sides. Okay, 5 besides the lid, right? Is on top. There is much discussion among the contemporary poskim whether this design poses hatmana issue or not. Let's see what's the problem. That's how it was built. It's not like we added something to it, right? So that would be the argument, but let's see. Most authorities rule that hatmana does not apply and say that this crack pot may be used on Shabbos. However, others disagree and hold that this type of crack pot should not be used on Shabbos in a regular manner. Therefore, if one would like to follow the stringent view, he should slightly raise the inner pot by placing something inside the outer pot, such as empty can, a few stones, or crushed balls or foil. Okay, let's see. I mean, I think that's too dangerous to do that. I mean, I say just go by regular opinion, but straightforward opinion. Just leave it. You use your slow cooker as it is. Don't put things underneath. Okay. Okay. So continue. 1 second. I think. Continue. D. Let me see how much D. Submerging wrapped food in a pot containing hot food. To completely submerge the wrapped food in a pot that contains the hot food is considered insulating. It's very interesting. In a heated intensifying material, since the hot food will help raise the temperature of the wrapped food, which makes sense, right? So you have soup or you have cholent, right? And you want a piece of warm up the piece of kugel. So piece of kugel you're going to wrap into aluminum foil and put it in cholent, but it's very good, right? It's insulation, very good. We say it is allowed, right? It is allowed. We said that before, but we say it's allowed if you put it like it is. But now they say they wrap it in aluminum foil, I guess, right? So and now it's becoming the food intensifying. 1 second. Let's read one more time. The completely submerged wrapped food in a pot that contains hot food is considered insulating a heat intensifying material, right? So exactly as we said, so, if we wrap it in aluminum foil, right? It was cold piece of kugel. Now it's the temperature rises, right? Since the hot food will help raise the temperature of the wrapped food, thus it is forbidden to submerge a small foil pan, or food wrapped in aluminum foil in a pot or hot food, even on Erev Shabbos. If the food is not totally submerged, the prohibition does not apply. So basically, same as all of these pots, as we said. If it's completely wrapped, completely wrapped before Shabbos, there is no problem. During the Shabbos, it is a problem. So here they say if pot. Let me read one more time. Thus, it is forbidden to submerge small pan, right, or food wrapped in aluminum foil in a pot or of hot food, even on Erev Shabbos. Okay, because this now it becoming the heat intensifying material. So before that, all of this discussion, just to remind us, was it's heat retaining material, meaning that it's going to just retain the heat. But this aluminum foil is actually going to raise the heat of the food more than normal. That's why it is not permitted to be set even on Erev Shabbos. If food is not totally submerged, the prohibition does not apply. So one more time, if it's like sticking out, so it is covered from 5 sides, there is no problem. Continue. Exclusion. The prohibition of submerging wrapped food in a pot of hot food applies only to one sole intention, is to keep the food warm. However, if in addition to keeping the food warm, one's intention is that the wrapped food should absorb the flavor or color from the food it is being submerged in, or vice versa, right? For example, that the cholent should absorb the flavor slash color of the kishke, right? The prohibition does not apply. So meaning if you want this kishke put in wrap in what is it in aluminum foil, usually people make holes so that it would absorb the flavor of cholent. There is so in this case, because you have second reason in mind, so they say it is allowed. In this instance, we consider the wrapped food is a part of the outer food. That's it. So because they exchange the flavors and colors. Or poking holes in the foil wrapped is sufficient for the taste coloring to intermingle. So if you don't make holes, that's the issues, right? That's you only want to keep the form warm or even warm. So it would be forbidden. But if you wanted to exchange the taste, right? So that's you make few holes and that's it. That's how it works. For example, one submerged foil wrapped piece of kishke or kugel in the pot of cholent on Erev Shabbos. That's it, right? So why? Because he wants this piece of kugel to be separate, so you can take out this aluminum foil, unwrap it, and it would be like separate separate side dish, let's say. But let's go like this. But if you would not wrap it into aluminum foil, it would be like a all big mess, right? That's not what you want. Okay. This is not considered insulating, since one usually intends for the food to absorb the cholent flavor or color. In addition, if one's intention is to keep the wrapped food from falling apart, exactly as we said, the prohibition does not apply either. So, I mean, my main intention, of course, I want the flavor. That's first intention. And second intention, I want to keep like clean without be messy with all of the cholent, right? That's then they say there is no problem. Alternatively, parchment paper can be used to wrap the food, and poking holes would not be necessary. Okay, parchment paper, because I think that the flavor is going to go through it. Okay. Continue. Summary. It is forbidden to, without exception, to insulate any container or food. There is even a cliché, meaning the secondary container, in a material that intensifies the heat. This prohibition applies on Erev Shabbos as well on Shabbos. So they said what was this heat retaining material, heat intensifying material? They said salt and sand and all straw and grass, all of this beautiful material. But then we said that usually we don't use it today. But what is the practical application when the pot is on a blech, on either hot plate or a source of heat? So you're not allowed to insulate it. Accordingly, one may not insulate the pot left on a blech, hot plate, or crack pot. So crack pot meaning on top of the lid, even on Erev Shabbos. Likewise, hot water urn may not be completely wrapped even before Shabbos. Okay, I mean today I think they make such a good insulation, so there is not necessary to add all of the extra layers. I think that's my opinion, but I could be wrong. Continue. If one uses a crack pot with a ceramic insert and he wants to be stringent, he may slightly raise the inner pot. But I would say we always put this blech when we were talking about blechs, right? We always put insert into this slow cookers always. So it's never on the laying on a bottom, on an element. So this element is always covered. So okay, so they say you should slightly raise the inner part before placing inside the outer one. Okay, but as we said, it's not necessary. Just you can use it as it is. So I mean, because it's become crooked and stuff like that, maybe it's going to catch fire. You don't know. Better not to play with these things. Submerging a container of food or food wrapped in aluminum foil in a pot of hot food is forbidden, right? So why? Because we said for the purpose of retaining heat, unless it is done to enhance the flavor or color. For example, kishke or kugel in a cholent, or so that the food would not fall apart. So as we said, with these foods, that's a classic example, right? You want a flavor of the meat flavor, right, into all of this, and you want what? And you want color, and you want not to fall apart. Part number 5: permissible methods of insulating. There are several methods of wrapping that do not fall under the prohibition of insulating. Both types of insulation, there is a heat retaining or intensifying, may be employed to enclose spot in these methods. So as we said, there is insulation and there is insulation. So insulation, as we said before, if you want this spot to retain heat, you want to wrap around from all the sides, from top and from bottom. That's let's see if you care about the results, right? So now we're talking about the exception. A pot is left partially exposed, as we said before. The term insulating refers to enclose the pot completely on top and all of the sides. I would say at the bottom also. If a third of a pot is left uncovered, wrapping the remainder does not constitute insulation and is permitted. So here the rabbi gives us the formula. If 1/3 of the pot is exposed, so what is the 1/3? I would say that if the cover could be maybe 1/3, maybe a little more than the cover, like the lid of the pot. I think that's 1/3. Okay, next one is B. Wrapping does not touch the pot. That's what I said before. It's like almost useless. I mean, it helps somewhat, but we'll see. It's not. It is permissible to insulate the pot on Erev Shabbos or even on Shabbos if the substantial part of wrapping does not touch the surface of the pot. A loose wrapping is not considered insulation and therefore is not covered by the prohibition. Accordingly, one may drape towel over the pot or urn, allowing it to hang loosely. So usually, when you want a good insulation, you wrap it tightly. Right here, you just put on top of the cover of the pot just loosely, right? Even though the entire pot is covered, so it is covered, but it covered loosely. Okay, so it's not considered covering insulating. Similarly, a pot covered with a white plate may be wrapped in a towel, as the towel will not touch the entire pot, but will slope inward from the plate to the base of the pot. So basically, you have a pot, and you have the pot, and the plate is bigger than the pot. So of course, even if you cover, it's not going to touch all of these sides. Summary: any type of insulation may be used if substantial part of the pot is exposed, right? So you said substantial is 1/3. That's substantial. A loose wrapping that does not touch the entire pot is not considered insulation and is permitted. Like I think that's a ideal example. When you have a pot and instead of lid, you put that plate that is bigger than the diameter of the pot, and you cover, so it's never going to be good job as been decided. It's not going to be attached to the wall. Part number 6. The prohibition was violated. Here we go. If one wrap the container, it's actually the first time. So we're on page 113. It's first time. It's what to do if we did not follow the law, right? First time. If we said no. I apologize. I have to take back. I'm taking back my words. We said when if food was cooked on Shabbos, what was not allowed to cook, so you're maybe not allowed to derive any benefit from that. Okay, continue. If the prohibition was violated, if one wrapped a container of completely cooked food on Shabbos with a heat retaining material, for example, he wrapped a towel around the pot of the cholent, not currently on a heat source, it is permitted to eat the food. So after the fact, if he wrapped this cholent, right, and it was, the way I understand, in a primary vessel, right, in a primary vessel, but not on a fire. So if it would be on a fire, it would be, as we said before, forbidden. Why would it be forbidden? Because it would be heat intensifying material, right? But off the fire, it's a different story. It's more lenient. So we say after the fact, they were not allowed to, but they did it anyway after the fact. No problem. I mean, it is a problem, but they can eat the food. I don't want to say no problem. I'll take it back. Problem, but they can eat. Continue. If one wrapped a fully cooked food on Erev Shabbos with a material that intensified the heat, for example, double wrapped food in a foil and place it on top of the crack pot, it is permitted to be eaten. If he did this on Shabbos, however, he must wait until it cools down before consuming it, so that it does not benefit from the prohibited acts. Okay, so first of all, why is it lenient? So because it's, first of all, it's after the fact, and it is rabbinical. So that's why it's a little more lenient. So let's read it one more time, and we're going to explain. If one wrapped the fully cooked food on Erev Shabbos with a material that intensifies heat, for example, double wrapped food, double wrap food in a foil and place it on the top of the crack pot. So we said one time, one wrap is to preserve from this food from drying. There is no problem. We said there is no problem. But second wrap, second layer, is for sure for in heat intensifying purposes, right? But he did it before Shabbos. It is permitted to be eaten. So after the fact, he left it like this. It's permitted to be eaten. If he did it on Shabbos, okay, so that's now he crossed the line, right? So he has to wait until the food cooled down. So it's not completely forbidden. Some foods, as we're going to see later on, would be completely forbidden. But here it's not. So just wait until all the bad benefits, whatever you did, gone, and you can eat it, no problem. Part number 7, practical applications. A, insulating pots on Erev Shabbos. Okay, so practical application. A pot of hot food may be wrapped in a towel or blanket on Erev Shabbos to retain its heat. For example, wrapping the hot food of soup in a towel on Erev Shabbos so that the soup will be warm for the Friday night meal is permitted. So as we said before, in the summer, you don't want, now in the winter, there's no problem, right? You can run your blech or hot plate. I mean, that's fine. Right? But not in the winter, not in the summer. So, I mean, some people do, but we don't. We use this insulation method. B, insulating pots on Shabbos. So before Shabbos, in a heat retaining material like blankets, towels, no problem. Now we're going to insulating pots on Shabbos itself. On Shabbos itself, it is forbidden to insulate a pot on Shabbos by wrapping it in a towel unless a substantial part of the pot is left uncovered. Meaning, as we said, 1/3. But if, I'm just adding, it does not say here, but just to remind us of what we said earlier today. So whatever was covered on Shabbos, you can uncover, take the food and cover it back, and even, as I say, add a layer, no problem. Continue. A pot that was wrapped in a towel on Erev Shabbos, may be uncovered and rewrapped in Shabbos. Okay, yeah, exactly this. No problem. Okay, so they say if you unwrap it, you can rewrap it, no problem, as many times as you want. Continue. C, insulating pots that are on a blech. A pot left on a blech, hot plate, or cracked pot may not be insulated, even before showers. That's it. As we said, it's heat intensifying thing, right? So it's going to be much hotter than without it. However, a towel may be draped over the pot loosely. The pot may be wrapped tightly if a substantial part will be left uncovered. So, okay, so the rabbi is saying, so, okay, you can wrap, for example, around the pot, but leave the top part covered. Or drape loosely, meaning to put this towel on top of the pot, right? But do not tackle in, I guess. Okay. Continue. D. Electric ovens. An oven may not be completely enclosed in a wrapping. It is permissible to wrap the oven if the part of it left exposed. Okay. Alternatively, the towel may be draped loosely over the oven. Okay. Loosely, as we said, always allowed. E. A warming up baby bottle. It is prohibited to completely submerge a baby bottle in hot water on showers. However, the bottle may be immersed in hot water where the prohibition of cooking does not apply, if the part of the bottle is not submerged in the water. Okay, this is true even though the liquid completely submerged under the level of the water. As long as the bottle is not completely submerged, it is permitted. So, for example, you don't need to warm like most of the time the whole bottle. So you do half or 3/4, whatever. Some people do, like, I don't know, even quarter. So it depends on the baby, how old the baby is. So you don't need that much. So even this part of the bottle that has milk is under the water, but rest of the bottle is not in the water, so it's not considered completely covered, right? And okay. And about cooking, we said what we said about cooking. Just to remind us, we said that it's never allowed in a primary vessel because, of course, it's liquid. In a secondary vessel, we said that if it's too hot, right? No, in a secondary vessel, we said it can, but you cannot pour from primary vessel. Because why? It says we're going to cook the sides of the bottle. And if these sides, the walls of the bottle is in turn going to cook the milk. That's the issue. F. Insulating baby bottle. It is permissible to wrap a baby bottle in a towel to retain its heat. Okay. So as we said before, so don't cover everything, and that's would be sufficient. G. Submerging kishke or kugel in a cholent. Okay. A piece of kishke or kugel wrapped in aluminum foil may be submerged in a pot of cholent before showers. If one's intention is for it to absorb the cholent's flavor, color, or the cholent absorb the color, flavor of kishke or kugel, provided that the flavor or color can penetrate the wrapping. So I mean, so if you put a triple wrapping, it's not going to penetrate so easy, right? So first of all, usually people do 2 wrappings, so it would not fall apart, right? Just in case, but they would make holes. That's the only solution. For example, by poking holes in a foil or by using parchment paper. Okay. Continue. If one's intention is that it should not fall apart, poking holes is not necessary. Okay, but I would say if you already put it in cholent, well, of course you want the flavor. Otherwise, it's like, I don't know. I would say all people that I know, they poke holes. Let's put it this way. However, if one desires to simply keep the kishke hot, it may not be completely submerged. So here we go. So if you want the flavor, you need to make holes. If you don't make holes and hope the flavor is going to go through, like I mean, it's possible, but it's not going to become complete like flavor, right? So just to warm it up is not allowed. H, thermos. Hot liquids may be poured directly into klirishon, from a klirishon, even from an urn into the thermos on Shabbos. What is the explanation? It's so thermos is I'm not sure what's explained. I know it is allowed, but based on what we said, it's very interesting. It's for sure it's heat retaining material. Yeah. I apologize. It's a cliche. I apologize. So it's cliche, and we said there is no problem with insulated cliche. Okay, it's a little late. So okay, but that's the explanation. Cliche. So just to remind us, in a primary vessel, klirishon not allowed. In cliche, you're allowed to wrap on shells. Number one, X. Oh, no, it's not number one. I, X. According to some authorities, it is permitted to submerge a cooked egg in a shell in hot water that is off the fire, even directly from the urn on Shabbos. Likewise, it is permitted to submerge cooked eggs on Erev Shabbos in a pot that is on the fire. I mean, some people put eggs in a cholent or other Sephardic also have, I don't remember how they call it, this dish. So, I mean, it's very interesting. They put eggs and they change colors. So that's the proof that the shell, it's actually breathing, right? I mean, very interesting. So continue. Last one, J, sauce white. Recently, a new form of cooking meat known as a sauce white, I have no idea what it is, has been introduced to the market. A piece of meat tightly sealed in packaging where no juice can escape is submerged in a special pot of water. Many authorities rule that in this instance it is not considered insulating, but rather a form of protecting the meat to retain its flavor and ensure it's cooked evenly. However, other halachic questions arise when using such a device. Therefore, one should consult halachic authorities for guidance. I have no idea what is it. I mean, they explain, but I would say just use slow cooker and learn Torah. It will be more beneficial. Okay, so we finished the chapter. And there's HaShem. Next week, we're going to do chapter number 8 and topic sorting. That's a big time. We're not going to finish in one time. For sure not. That's too much. Yeah. All right, any questions on what we said or we did not say?
Hello, here.
Go ahead.
So why aluminum foil is not allowed on Erev Shabbos to preserve the warmth of the food?
No, one time is allowed. One time. So one time is allowed. So we started because you usually use aluminum foil to prevent from drying out. Right? So food would be nice and fresh. You understand? Even we have some food left, we would wrap in aluminum foil and put in the refrigerator. You understand? So I'm not trying to preserve anything. Okay, but say one layer is enough. But when you put 2 layers, so now you try to intensify the heat. Because why? Why you trying to intensify the heat? So this aluminum is a metal, right? So metal is going to get warm, and it's going to warm even more the food inside. That's the issue.
So another question is pouring warm water into to make a coffee. Is allowed or not allowed on Shabbat?
From where?
You have the blech, you have the pot upside down,
Yeah.
and you have the teapot.
Okay.
Then you by accident you pour water on the directly on the cup to make a coffee. Yes, but you realize at the same time that the water is only warm; it's not hot. That would be a violation, or
no. In this case, there is no violation. So everything below the Yatz ball. So we have to check. We have to convert this 110 degrees of Fahrenheit to Celsius. I think last time we said maybe 70, maybe not. I don't remember. Right. So if it's warm, it's only warm, so it's not capable of cooking. So that's the thing. But usually what we do, according to I mean, even since the coffee, we're talking about, when we say coffee, we're talking about instant coffee, right? So instant coffee, as we said, it was cooked before. And sugar, you want to add sugar, sugar also was cooked before, right? So they say you can do it even in the first cup, right? There's some opinion, but we always try to do it in second cup. So from the kettle we put in one cup, and from this cup we put in another cup, and then you can put coffee and sugar and everything. Or if you want to do it in the first cup, so there is opinion, so you can do it. You can pour water first, and then add sugar and coffee. So
does it matter if the powder coffee is at the bottom of the cup?
So yeah, I would say, as I said before, the best way to do it in a third vessel. So it would be, according to all of the opinions, it's not considered to be cooking in a third vessel. So in this case, it does not matter. You put coffee first and then add water, or you add water and then add coffee. So, but in a second vessel, it's better to pour water and then add the coffee and the sugar, because why? Nobody cooks like that, right? Usually people cook differently. Go ahead.
The example was the other day. Tried to make coffee, and I am accustomed to pour the powder of the coffee first at the drop in the bottom to the bottom of the cup, and later the hot water. So I was somewhat distracted, and I poured the water directly from the teapot to the cup, and I realized, oh no, what I have done. But then I realized that the water was only warm; it was not
exactly hot. So there is no problem whatsoever. No problem. So all of these things were what we just said, only when it's very hot water that the hand is going to require. That's it. So warm is, there is no problem under any condition.
Okay, and the final question for today is about the baby container for milk. So if I understood well, did you say that part of the container must be outside the water?
Exactly, yes. So because they say why? Because it's like this water, in some sense, it's hot water, right? In some sense, it is insulation. You understand? So our topic today is insulation. So hot water or any it's insulation. So we say, and we want to put this baby bottle into the hot water on Shabbos, right? So the problem is that it was not there before Shabbos, right? So if it was before Shabbos and you reinsert it, there is no problem. So they say if it's a significant part of it sticking out above the water, there is no problem. It's not insulation. So insulation, we said, when it wrapped around from all of the sides. If a significant part is exposed, as we said about the parts, like let's say 30%, I would say if you cover, like leave the lid open, top open, so for sure it's 30%, maybe not 30, maybe around 30%. So it would not be considered insulation halachically. So same with baby bottle.
Okay. I wanted to ask someone something else, but
Okay, no problem. Go ahead.
About this, because so in short, when warming up food on Shabbos, you never are going to cover the pot containing the food. You let the vapor to evaporate.
Why would you do that? No.
Because it is said that if you close with the cover, it will be a full insulation. And
No. What's this? When we say insulation, we mean you have a container and you try to wrap the towel around it. That's insulation.
But I was.
It's not insulation. It's like a container.
Oh yeah. I was thinking about this temperature of Insulated.
Yes.
I was thinking about that, if that was the bottom line of this prohibition.
So I mean, Yatz boy, it's very important, right? So we said that there is opinion, as we said, if it's below Yatz boy, you can wrap around even the primary container. But if it's above Yatz so they give us this leniency, right? If this container was even if you have a soup, right, and if above Yatz bo, but you cannot insulate it, right? You cannot, because it's in primary vessel. But if you pour soup somewhere else, that vessel, that pot, you can cover around with your towels and stuff like that. Understand? That's the thing.
Okay. For today, that's all. Thank you.
Okay. All right. You're welcome. All right. So thank you very much, everybody. Good night. So tomorrow, same time, 8:15, and we're going to learn Kitzur. Good night. Thank you very much.
אני מברך את הרבנים, רגע. אני מברך את הרבנים, הרב ירון ראובן, הרב אפרים כחלון, ראשי ארגון בעזרת השם, שהלכו בפי עליון, שעלו מעלה, יהיה להם ברכה והצלחה, הקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא בישועות ליבם לטובה ולברכה, שבכל מה שיפנו ישכילו ויצליחו, יזכו לעשות כאלה וכאלה, הודיעו תורה לאדירה, אמן ואמן.
בעזרת השם רשת בכל הארץ. הוא היהודי הזה, הוא היה מיליונר, סגר את כל הביזנס, אמר אני משקיע פה בעולמה של תורה.
איפה הוא גר?
בפלורידה.
פלורידה, איפה זה פלורידה? באמריקה.
במיימי. כן, ליד. אנחנו שם עכשיו הולכים להקים קהילה ספרדית.
חזק אותו בשמי.
קהילה ספרדית גדולה.
תעבירו מה שבירכתי אותו.
כן, קהילה ספרדית גדולה.